Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Dr. Mansur Ali, and I am a lecturer in Islamic Studies at Cardiff University and a khatib in Dar Isra Mosque. So, inshallah, during this self-isolation period, I will, rather than talking about COVID-19 and making everyone get depressed, what I will be doing is I would like to start a collection of hadith and discuss the hadiths mentioned in this book. Now, this is a 40 hadith collection, but it's not the usual hadith collection that everybody knows of, which is Imam Nawawi's 40 hadith. Imam Nawawi's 40 hadith is very famous, and many of you might have already gone through those hadiths. Now, I don't want to go through the hadiths of Nawawi's 40 hadiths, because you will find many YouTube clips on the commentaries of this hadith. The book that I will be teaching, and hopefully let's start this hopefully even after the isolation period and self-isolation period, maybe we can carry on with this. Wallahu alam. It is a book written by one of the greatest muhaddith that Islam has ever produced, by the name of Shaykh al-Islam Ahmad ibn Ali ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahmatullahi alayh, sometimes known as just as Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. Now, Imam Ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayh has written many books, and out of the books that he's most famously known for his book, which is a commentary of Sahih al-Bukhari, known as Fath al-Bari. This book that we will be going through, I'll refer to it as the 40 hadiths or al-Arba'in, but the proper name for it, and I have the book on the computer screen, so I'm going to be looking on the computer screen, so I might not be directly looking at you. Now, the book is called Al-Imta' bil-Arba'in al-Mutabayinat al-Sima', which literally means taking delight from 40 distinguished hadiths received through audition. Now, this is a very interesting book for a number of reasons. Number one is that Imam Ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayhi only in this book discusses those hadiths that he has heard from his teachers, in the sense that his teachers read the hadith while Imam Ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayhi was in the class listening. Now, this may sound nothing unusual, but in technical hadith studies, there is a difference between how one listens to hadith, how one receives a hadith from the teacher. Sometimes student read hadith to the teacher, and the teacher confirms that. This is known as qiraat ala shaykh, or ilqa ala shaykh, reading the hadith to the shaykh. And sometimes the shaykh will read a hadith and the students will listen. This is known as sima'. And sima' is or audition, reception through audition. Sima' is the kind of strongest of the hadith. So Imam Ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayhi, in this book, he will go through 40 hadiths that he heard from his teachers. Now, what's very interesting about this book is it's 40 hadiths that Imam Ibn Hajar heard from his teachers in 40 different places, and he also narrates them from 40 different Sahabi companions. And he arranges the hadith is not according to topics, but according to alphabetical order, according to his not his teacher's names, but the companion's name. The very first hadith is a hadith known as Musalsal bil Awwaliyya, and I will talk about that a bit more. But then the few hadiths afterwards are hadiths from the four caliphs, and then the Abadila, and then he starts with Alif, the name of the Sahaba, Alif, and then goes on to Ba, and then goes on to Ta and Tha, Jim, Ha, all the way up till the end. There are more than 40 hadiths. There are about 45 hadiths in this book. And this hadith is this book is interesting. In the chapter of Meme, he has the isnad. So he's giving the isnad from his teacher, what he heard, all the way to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it's a long isnad. In our readings, we will not go through the isnad, because that's a very technical science. But in the hadith on meme, what he does is, in that hadith we will read it, it's called Musalsal bil Muhammadiyya, that every single person, starting from Imam Ibn Hajar to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every single people, there are about 30 people in the isnad, every single person in the isnad, their name is Muhammad. Okay, so Muhammad narrated from Muhammad, 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 all the way to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is a blessed isnad. Now, why am I teaching this particular book? Well, I worked on this book. This book has been published by Turas Publishing in their collection of 40 hadiths. This is the 10th of the collection. They have many different collections by Ibn Daqiq al-Eid and Imam Ibn al-Jawzi and Mullah Ali Qari and Imam al-Suyuti, Ibn Hajar Asqalani. They have all this whole 40 hadith collection. I worked on the Imam Ibn Hajar's collection. I edited the text. I added footnotes. I added commentary, and I added also the biography of the companions. So in a way, although I am not the author of this book, but I am associated with the English translation and commentary of this book. So in a way that you are reading this book directly from the commentator, from the translator. Just a very brief biography on Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Hajar. Imam Ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayhi was a hadith scholar who was born during the time of the Mamluk period. His full name is Abu al-Fadl Shihabuddin Ahmad ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Ahmad al-Kin'ani al-Asqalani. He was born on the 22nd of Sha'ban 773 Hijri, which corresponds to 8 February 372. He was born in the old quarters of Cairo, which is known as Al-Qarafa, and also he is also buried there in Al-Qarafa, not too far away from Imam al-Shafi'i's grave. Those who have been to Imam al-Shafi'i rahmatullahi alayhi's grave. Imam al-Shafi'i's first hadith lesson was at the age of, well, the first lesson of Sahih al-Bukhari was at the age of 12 years old, by a scholar by the name of Sheikh Afifuddin. And that happened when Imam Ibn Hajar first time went to the Hijaz, and he was sitting in the eastern corner of the Kaaba, and he was listening to the hadith from this Sheikh. Now, Imam Ibn Hajar also at that time led the Taraweeh. Now we don't know if the Taraweeh was in the Haram or was it a private, but he led the Taraweeh. Imam Ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayhi goes to the grave. Imam Ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayhi drinks Zamzam water, and he makes a dua. And in this dua he says, "Oh Allah, give me more knowledge in hadith than the knowledge that you have given to Imam Shamsuddin al-Zahabi." He was a hadith scholar and a student of Imam Ibn Taymiyyah. One of the greatest debt to Islam that Imam Ibn Hajar has done, and the greatest contribution is his commentary of the Fath al-Bari. Okay, Imam al-Shawkani rahmatullahi alayhi, who's a more recent Yemeni hadith scholar, says that the Prophet ﷺ has a hadith where he says La hijrata ba'da al-fath, which basically means that after Fath Makkah there is no hijrah. People were emigrating from Makkah to Medina. Imam Shawkani uses this, and he says about Ibn Hajar, La hijrata ba'da al-fath, saying that after Imam Ibn Hajar has written the commentary of Sahih al-Bukhari, Fath al-Bari, we do not need to travel to the different areas and the different corners of the earth to gather hadiths, because all of the hadiths or the major hadiths are in Fath al-Bari, and Imam Ibn Hajar has commented on this. Now, Imam Ibn Hajar hasn't only written one book on 40 hadiths. He's written quite a number of hadiths and books on 40 hadiths. Al-Arba'un al-Ashariyat al-Isnad ila al-Sahaba, Al-Arba'un fi al-Rad ala al-Mujrim al-Sab al-Muslim, الأربعون الممتاز بأوائل شيوخ الإجازة, الأربعون المنتقى من أوائل المسلم على البخاري, and then this book الأوائل, and this book which is called Al-Imta', and then there are other books called Al-Awali التالية لمئاب العالية. So there are quite a few of these books that he has written. So he was a prolific hadith scholar. Now, not all of the hadiths in this particular book that we are reading are Sahih. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the hadith itself is not Sahih. The hadith might be Sahih, but the particular isnad that Imam Ibn Hajar is bringing might not necessarily be Sahih, because he is more interested in the isnad, that he wants to narrate it from 40 teachers in 40 different places, from 40 different sahabas. So he's more interested in the sima of the isnad. There's a very interesting story that is mentioned about Imam Ibn Hajar rahmatullahi alayh. Imam Ibn Hajar was a scholar and a qadi in Cairo for a number of times, and also he was a hadith scholar in Madrasa al-Mu'ayyid. That's where in Cairo, where he wrote the the commentary of the Sahih al-Bukhari. Now, he had a rival, so he was from the Shafi'i school of thought. Now he has a rival by the name of Imam Badruddin Aini. Now, Imam Badruddin Aini was a Hanafi, and some also say that he was a cousin of Imam Ibn Hajar Asqalani. So there's a very interesting anecdote mentioned about Ibn Hajar, that one day Ibn Hajar was sitting down and he was writing when suddenly Imam al-Aini went past him. And Ibn Hajar, by nature, Ibn Hajar was also a poet. So he composed a couplet there, and he says, لجامع مولانا المؤيد رونق منارته بالحسن تزهو وبالزين تقول وقد مالت على البرج امهلوا فليس على جسمي أضر من العين. So this is a piece of couplet that he made straight on the spot, and it's kind of a hiju. It's kind of a polemical poetry where he's attacking Badruddin Aini, and he's looking at the minaret of the Jami of the King Mu'ayyid, and he says, لجامع مولانا المؤيد رونق منارتها بالحسن تزهو وبالزين. Splendor belongs to the mosque of our master al-Mu'ayyid. Its minarets shine with beauty and adornment. تقول وقد مالت على البرج امهلوا فليس على جسمي أضر من العين. Inclining away from the middle course, the minaret says, wait, nothing is more injurious to my body than the evil eye. And here the pun is on the word al-Aini, referring to Allama Badruddin Aini. It was a scholarly rivalry, it was banter. They were actually cousins. Upon hearing this polemical couplet, Allama Badruddin al-Aini, who's also a commentator of the Sahih al-Bukhari, he retorts and he says, منارة كعروس الحسن إذا جليت وهدمها بقضاء الله والقدر. قالوا أصيبت بعين قلت ذا غلة ما أوجب الهدم إلا خصة الحجر. He says, a minaret, when it is polished, it looks like the bride of beauty. Its destruction is according to the decree and will of Allah. They say that it has suffered from the evil eye. I say wrong. Nothing but the bad quality of stone, al-Hajar, caused its destruction. The pun here is on the word al-Hajar, referring to Imam Ibn Hajar. Imam Ibn Hajar, rahmatullahi alayhi, died. One of the interesting books that Ibn Hajar also wrote is called Bazlul Ma'un fi Fadl Ta'un, which is a book he actually wrote on plagues and epidemics. I thought just because of COVID-19, I'll mention this. Imam Ibn Hajar, rahmatullahi alayhi, died out of terminal illness, which lasted for 2 months. He died on Friday, 28th of Zil-Hijrah, 852 Hijri, 2nd of February, 1448, and he was buried in Al-Qarafa in Cairo, now known as Madinatul Mawta. The Caliph at the time led his funeral prayer. Imam al-Suyuti, who at the time of Ibn Hajar's death was only 3 years old, he later narrates that that a person by the name of Shihab al-Mansuri told him that Shihab al-Mansuri was present at Ibn Hajar's funeral, and it started raining, and Imam Ibn Hajar's body began to get wet. Now, capturing the moment, Shihab al-Mansuri recited the following couplets. He said, قد بكت السحب على قاضي القضاة بالمطر وانهدم الركن الذي كان مشيدا من حجر. The clouds have shed tears of rain on the chief of Qadi. Qadi al-Qudat. Ibn Hajar was Qadi al-Qudat of the Shafi'iyah. He was the chief Qadi of the Shafi'iyah in Cairo. So the clouds have shed tears of rain on the chief of Qadi. Thus the solid pillar of stone got ruined. And pillar of stone here is a pun on the name Ibn Hajar, rahimahullah. So inshallah, in the next video, we will start looking at the hadiths of al-imta. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.